Yep. It's time to quit for our ref. We're gonna look at this. Apparently, this is about blacklisted VTubers from artists. Yeah, we're gonna look at this. Also, please consider liking, subscribing. Yeah, as a right-wing VTuber or VTuber who's not how do you say it? A VTuber who doesn't follow the narrative that is being pushed, or a VTuber that doesn't necessarily agree with what the space does. It's gonna be interesting. It's interesting, right? Because you can't really find so it's interesting, right? They want you to commission artists, but artists, because they're unprofessional, refuse to work with you because you said something at one point that they didn't like, right? That's the thing. Okay, now we're here. Then you use AI instead, which a lot of those people are doing because, like, right, you can't commission artists. Then they get mad as well that why you're using AI and not commission artists. Well, I can't commission artists because artists don't want to be commissioned by me, so I use AI. But you don't want me to use AI because you want me to you want me to commission artists, but I can't commission artists because I said something that they were offended by. Anyways, wait, Poker, you like Harry Potter? Yes, I do like Harry Potter. I do like it. Anyways, moving on.
Hey, what's up, guys? Ruff here. So I regret to inform you that things must change. That I have finally decided to renounce my ways, to scale back my wrong think, to re-educate myself and become one of the normal people because the latest campaign, the latest virtue signal, it's so effective.
Yeah, interesting. It's like, hey, well, don't be right wing then. And I'm like, or don't say that. And I'm like, so I have to throw away my morals and what I believe so I can commission art. Yeah, I'd rather just use AI at this point and hope you go bankrupt. And if there are artists that do want to work with me, I'd rather commission those. And everyone else could just go to shit.
Even I have to fall in line. Now, of course, I'm joking, but there's another crusade to go after the wrong think people in the Vtubing scene, and it's very similar to something we talked about roughly a month ago involving this situation right here, where an artist was trying to blacklist people like myself and other problematic VTubers, where on the one hand, they were trying to shame people from using AI while also trying to blacklist them from real artists, which seems pretty counterintuitive, but we're seeing this yet again. But unfortunately, to the chagrin of all the people in
I think I'm blocked by Syndicate. I'm pretty sure I am. I'm pretty sure I am. Anyways, I will let you see Magic Wingardium Leviosa. Anyways, I don't know. Avada Kedavra. There's breaking news. Yeah, I've seen it. 30 shirtless, especially man inside the ballroom where Trump and his associates were having a party and started shoot. Yeah, I've heard that. I saw that on Twitter. Those artists need to let it go and look for other clients. So it would seem.
involved, you just can't keep a real one like me down, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, let's get into the latest situation. This post would get a lot of attention, millions of interactions. This person says, life of a right-winged VTuber. Tries to commission artists. Artist says, I don't support your ideas and drops you. Uses AI for art. People cry about you using AI and wish death on you for not commissioning artists. Yeah, many such cases, and it's very important to understand that by right-winged VTuber, that pretty much...
Yeah, that is pretty much anyone who doesn't necessarily agree with leftist ideas. But that's pretty much everyone. Even if you're not a even if you're actually not a right-winger, right, and you are a leftist, in fact, but if you don't agree with the mob, you're still a right-winger. It's, like, interesting, right? There's this one lady who is very much left-wing, right, who's a VTuber, but she gets called a chud because, first of all, she ran with the chud thing, but also, because she's not mentally ill. That's all there is.
means anyone who's one step to the right of Mao Zedong at this point, right? I mean, even apolitical VTubers are viewed as like alt-right because they refuse to speak on certain issues, right? We've seen this
Yeah, if I saw this correctly, Iron Mouse was on a VTuber hit list on Blue Sky. Yep, Iron Mouse. And who else? Project Melody as well, if I remember correctly, was also there. And who else? There were a bunch of other chicks as well that are either like completely like yeah, Silvervale was also there.
This happened a million times. And when it does come to commissioning artists, yeah, there are people who will say, you have the wrong think and I will not work with you, which is not only petty and just juvenile, it's also a terrible business model. But yeah, and when
It also gets worse if you're that ain't a man, because there are people out there who see the most diabolical thing I've ever seen was that somebody got rejected from a commission for being a man. No, you heard me right. For being a man. Not that they wanted to commission some male art for a male character. The artist was doing male art for male characters. But the problem was that the person commissioning it was a dude. Tell me how that works. Tell me. So you have no issue drawing male characters, but you have an issue if the dude commissioning it is a dude. Anyways. Or that the dude who's commissioning the art is a dude. And the person is a dude and not a woman. Very interesting. Nobody. The body was thrown together in Vroid.
comes to AI, if you do use AI, especially those who can't find an artist because of situations like this, they receive things like death threats and a lot of harassment, which is very unhinged, like regardless of your feelings about.
Yeah, Banana Juju would work, would know. Banana Juju would absolutely know.
The use of AI, it's very ironic to wish harm on real people over subject matter that is not real. But this whole situation really boils down to this. Someone trying to commission an artist declining them for wrongthink, that person then turning to AI, and those same people who are turning them away are now having a breakdown. And let's see the hashtag very normal people in the quotes of this original post. This person's saying they'll do anything except
stop being evil, says the guy, says the thing with the communist symbol in the name. I guess Mao was a good guy. Hey, oh yeah, and Stalin. And whoever's running Cuba. And whoever's running the socialist countries in Africa where the people do really horrible as well. Who else is there? I don't know. Interesting. Definitely not evil at all, causing definitely evil. Not evil, causing famine actively to the Ukrainians during the Soviet Union. Definitely not evil at all. No. We are the good guys. We'll let you starve.
stop being evil. And of course, this user has a hammer and sickle in their username, and just with a quick search on their accounts, they're advocating for political violence. Not only celebrating the assassination of Charlie Kirk, but also saying his wife needs to go next. And then he also, ironically enough, supports the use of generative AI as long as it's using Charlie Kirk for memes. Remember, he's calling people evil over the use of AI. But it's okay in this circumstance, which is deranged to begin with. And then down here, bragging about showing their family members Charlie Kirk edits at Thanksgiving. Yeah, very normal people. Here's another one saying, ever tried not being a terrible person? Oh, look at that.
Oh, look. Hammer and sickle. I am not sure. Does this person know that they would die? Right? Does he know? I'm gonna call it a he because I definitely know that it is a he. Does he know he'd die if he were now in or that it would be heavily scrutinized if he was, for example, now in China, been doing commission that didn't even care what political leaning they're on as long as they're cool. I'm cool. Wow, you discovered professionalism. You discovered that's how it should be. Congratulations. Those people do not know that. They don't know what professionalism is.
Another hammer and sickle in the username. We're 2 for 2 so far. And what do you know? You look at their account. This was the first thing I saw, the first action they took on their account. Reposting another user advocating for the genocide of Christians. Like, these are the people telling you you're evil for using AI. Like, even if it's for just memes or something, these are the supposedly normal people, by the way. And also, what's with these commies? Like, I thought they wanted everything for free, but then they see someone doing something for free and now they're having an absolute meltdown on social media. They're not good at anything, especially being consistent, that's for sure. But here's another person trying to use this as a purity test, saying, have you tried not being a bad person or something? Well, would you know? Just
Very, very interesting and very, very telling. It's also interesting because I bet that this person is very much pro LGBTQ, but then they have the Palestine flag in there, which are not pro LGBTQ. I find that very interesting. Ah, yes, I support the very thing I hate. Well, actually, just I support the current thing.
search Kirk. All you got to do, guys, literally, if these people are trying to come out with these purity tests, trying to say you're a bad person over X, Y, and Z, as I always say, just keyword search Charlie Kirk on their account, and you're going to see them celebrating an act of political violence that left a wife widowed and children without a father for the rest of their lives. Like, this is the type of people saying that you're a bad person for turning to AI after losing commissions with artists because of your political beliefs. Then you have another person here saying being right-wing ascribes you to crowds that frequently deploy harmful rhetoric towards ethnicities and identities most artists belong to. Genocides, assassinations, and segregation are actively being supported by you. Only parties...
Very interesting, considering that, again, left-wingers have decimated people before, right? You could technically call the starvation during Mao, definitely, maybe. Okay, you can definitely call what the Soviet Union did to Ukraine definitely a genocide, 100%. Oh, but that one doesn't matter. That one's not that bad because, well, Stalin is a hero. Shut up. Also, again, the flag. I know what you are.
incapable of moral assignment can confidently offer you service. It's so funny this person lists these things off. In the last couple of tweets alone, we have seen the exact opposite side advocate and celebrate all of these things they're projecting on this user and anyone like them in the original post. The hypocrisy is really just astounding, but not surprising. And of course, you look through their account, here they are advocating for people to off Elon Musk on Elon Musk's platform.
By the way, which is very interesting. Like, it's like the same with like Blue Sky posting on Twitter. Which is like, your platform's so dog shit that you need to talk about the bugs that your platform has on another platform. Like, that should just tell you. Even if Mara were to commission me, I'd still do it. To be fair, it's not like you'd have much of a choice.
By the way, like, if you hate the guy so much, then leave, right? But this is just like openly committing a felony live on twitter.com. Like, this is insane. But they also said down here that everyone enlisted in ICE or into ICE. So I guess if you support them or you're even like invested, like interested in any sort of a way, you should be offed as well. Totally well-adjusted individuals who are, again, preaching to you about acceptance and tolerance. But this was the main quote that got the most attention. Now, when I say attention, how much of that is artificial, I don't really know. But that's really ironic given the conversation where we're talking about AI, where tweets like this feel very artificial, very botted. This person quotes saying, maybe don't be right-winged.
Yeah, that's that. By the way, The Truth, which is a big Dokkan battle creator. Also, the main reason I don't interact with them anymore, because a lot of those people literally celebrated murder. Um, Also tried to jump in and also decently got his ass fucking beat. Of course, he doesn't really care because too big of a reach, but like still was very interesting to see. That's why I dropped the community. I still play the game, I still love the game, but I don't really interact with that space anymore. They're all just like weirdos.
Ah, yes, that's the new strategy. Just change the way you think. Yeah, that wrong think, the fact that you think differently than me, just stop it. Just stop thinking the way you do. Stop having free will. Then we'll stop being mean to you. Then we'll give you things back. And we'll finally treat you like a normal human being as long as you line up 100% with our belief system. Totally deranged behavior. But this gets 74,000 likes. And ironically enough,
Let's say, hypothetically, right? Let's say this dude, hypothetically, okay? Let's just say hypothetically, everything turns around. Artists are now no longer taking commissions from leftists. Ever. At all. Would you become right wing to get artists to commission artists? Would you stop being left wing when, like, if everyone else would be right wing? Would you stop? Right? Would you stop? Because that's the question. Oh, you wouldn't? Well, that's rather interesting. Why should I then? What if their world was considered quote unquote evil? Would they stop? Probably not. Hi, Short King Unk. How you doing? Hope you're doing well. So I just sent the video. No biggie.
you'd be hard pressed to find anyone in the replies agreeing, but that's just kind of the way Twitter is. Everything feels so inauthentic. And just like any other person in this situation, they not only prove that, well, things are artificial looking in terms of likes, but they also use the opportunity in their virtue signaling to promote, I guess, their artist friend. And they say, since this is exploding, go support my friend's art. Well, all I can say is they definitely need some support. And ironically, they're not beating the botting accusations where the reply to their 74,000 liked tweet has 300 likes. But here's another interesting observation from the normal people. This VTuber saying, being right wing is a choice, by the way. Oh, all these things are just a choice, by the way. Not very woke of you, but let's continue on. They say, you just choose to hate others and make people dislike you since VTubing is an extremely leftist.
No. See, most VTuber fans are dudes. Therefore, it is essentially impossible for it to be extremely leftist space. You know why it's an extremely leftist space, quote unquote? Because the creators are women, and women tend to be very much more progressive. Because fun fact, women got more radicalized, not dudes. It's very interesting. So it is fundamentally impossible. It is fundamentally impossible because men tend to be more conservative. I know, what a shocker. It is fundamentally, numbers wise, impossible. You are saying something that is impossible. It can't be. The creators, yes, I'd go with that. Sure. But not the fans. The fans are the majority. Put the fries in the back.
Space. It's very interesting. So I guess an ideology can claim an entire medium, and if you don't line up with that ideology, you're not welcomed. Wow. That almost sounds like fascism, doesn't it? Isn't that exactly what it is? Like one ideology taking over a spot, and anyone who doesn't fit that is automatically not welcome whatsoever and is bad by default. Wow, yeah, that sounds like the exact stuff these people claim to hate, but this person says they choose to hate on others, and, you know, you gotta do the other test, right? You search Charlie Kirk, you can also search Rev on all these accounts, and
Yeah, they're gonna all have ref derangement syndrome. I think there's also there's also a letter missing. He pointed it out once, unless he has fixed it. Anyways, most VTuber are gamers are lean to the right wing. I wouldn't agree with that. I honestly wouldn't agree with that. Yeah, I wouldn't. Because women, right? Women are usually more progressive leaning. That's just how it is. Fans, however, are mostly dudes. That's why statistically they would be more right wing. At least that is an assumption I would make. That is an assumption I would make.
Rev derangement syndrome is through the roof with all these individuals. Looking back, we have a crossover here with Banana Juju, who we're going to talk about in just a second, where this VTuber says, thanking a piece of crap like Rev is like a definition of being a bad person. And someone says Rev is better than you'll ever be. And this VTuber says, I already am better than Rev.
Those numbers don't reflect that. I'm sorry, but your numbers don't reflect that. Your numbers do not reflect that. With 4 likes, or 36 likes, and 50 replies, I feel like, yeah, you kinda are maybe a tiny little bit fucked, but maybe that's just me?
Ooh, shiver me timbers. Guys, please support a helpless individual like me. I have been bested by this random VTuber on Twitter. They are better than me. So please, in this very hard time for me, offer all of your support. I need it now more than ever. I am
Damn, my goat is washed.
completely and utterly destroyed by this individual. But let's talk about Banana Juju. I believe this is the 3rd or 4th time we've talked about this VTuber on this.
Nah, this has to be more. There has to be more. Yeah, there's gotta be more. But yeah, Banana Juju is, she just it's like it's like insane, right? Just her simple existence makes these people like hope and seethe. Like it's fantastic. It's hilarious. Her simple existence just does that. It's right. It's insane.
Channel. She's been through the ringer. She's included in a lot of the posts calling me out and the other problematic VTubers. If you're not familiar, she was targeted by a lot of VTubers because they were claiming she was racist, and her VTuber model was cultural appropriation because of the dreads and the fair skin, despite the fact that it represents or reflects what she looks like in real life. But she gained a massive amount of followers during that time because VTuber fans don't care about this sort of virtue signaling, and they surrounded her and they basically backed her up, and she gained a substantial following because of VTubers trying to virtue signal about her. But she had a take on this situation saying this: you will find artists, do not worry. I did too, because there are so many of them. Also, the one thing AI never did to me was complain or scam me. So this is an upside right there. And
Certainly is. AI also has no deadlines, right? AI also doesn't have deadlines that are not kept up because somebody was taking too many commissions because they couldn't stuff themselves enough out of greed, right? That's another thing. I don't have to run after somebody for like months, or some people run after artists for years because they can't finish their commissions. If you don't have that much time, why are you taking this many commissions? Poor monkey. Well, is it really poor monkey? Because she can just farm this and she just hit a milestone based. Very good, very nice. Ayo, goat. Yo, goat. Ayo, call exorcist. I'm not Muslim. Calm down.
that is definitely the truth, and you really can find artists if you try hard enough. And also, anybody who's going to self-sabotage their business over petty differences of opinion or politics or anything like that as an artist, like, you probably don't want to work with them anyways, like, let's be real. But here's that VTuber again. They're quoting Banana Juju saying, I know your cults is just going to tell me to off myself, but you are absolute scum. Some artists need money and some have no morals, which is why they work with the likes of your be behind. Well,
Then, morals are not gonna feed your belly. That's the morals will not fill your belly. Ever consider that? And well, you can put your morals before quote unquote morals. Asian artists will do it for Juju, very likely. I mean, a lot of Asian artists don't really give a shit, right? So like, here's the thing: you can have your morals, quote unquote, if they are really moral, that is, regardless, and not be commissioned. But then you can also can't complain that people are using AI. It's that simple. You can either be professional, right, or you are cooked. See, the most successful people are those that try to be professional, that don't care and only care for about such petty things and just care for the business, right? It'd be like big supermarkets, right? Rejecting everyone that has ever said anything about wrong thing and that you can't shop there anymore. And then they complain that everyone is leaving and going to a different supermarket that does it. Because we have that in Germany. Multiple supermarket chains uh said something that alienated a large consumer base. More so, people who are more conservative. So people stopped going there, which hit their numbers. And then afterwards, they apologized. And now people are going there again.
That's extremely aggressive, but also, again, just kind of reinforcing the futility of this entire argument their side is trying to make. They're trying to blacklist VTubers that they think are problematic from working with real artists. Then they're mad when people turn to AI instead. Like, this is exactly what you're pushing them towards. And then when you have someone like Banana Juju trying to actively seek out artists, they get shamed. And then the artists get shamed for working with them. But Banana Juju replies saying no, they understand what a business is and that we agree to go into a contract with each other. In other words, professionals. No virtue signaling BS, just business. That is why they will keep earning money from me and I will happily pay them. And the VTuber says, working with your BA means you have no morals. Yeah, I'm glad we have this individual to preach to us about morals, but they were not done.
You know what's always funny? These people are on Twitter. You know what the problem is? You know what the problem is? These people on Twitter. Well, your morals are amazing, not working with people that you don't agree with, that you think are terrible. But you are on the platform of a person that you think is terrible. See, your morals stop the moment you realize you can't gain anything. Then all of a sudden, your morals, then all of a sudden you have, like, your morals don't matter anymore, right? Right? You are anti-generative AI, yet there's so much generative AI content on probably YouTube. There's probably some stuff on Twitch too. They literally use covers for the categories, but you still use those platforms. I guess your morals have limits to if you can't have access to use those platforms anymore. That's when your morals all of a sudden stop. Well, very strong morals if they falter if you can post on Twitter or not. Amazing morals, I must say. Those people will be stuck a fry cook with that attitude, kind of like Squidward. Oh, they absolutely will. They absolutely will.
Decide to quote a subathon post by Banana Juju saying, why do I share an anniversary with this effing see you next Tuesday? Well, that's completely unnecessary and hostile. And Juju would respond saying, yes, spread the word of the monkey.
It's like hilarious, right? Okay. Oh wait, cashiers. They probably already work as a like this person already works as a cashier probably. Listen, okay? Listen. Okay, listen. It's hilarious. You know why? These people give her more attention. These people give her more attention. They are effectively the reason why she seems to grow as fast as she does. Right? Obviously, she's also really fun, right? I do watch her clips. I do sometimes watch her reactions. I do I do sometimes hmm. I do sometimes right? Sometimes she even replies. I like that. But also like I do sometimes watch her streams, and like she's overall just also a fun person. Something that those people apparently aren't, because like look at that like and reply ratio. Sometimes seems like nobody's backing you up.
And this VTuber replies saying, "You make me want to effing disappear forever." Let's say that word. 3 likes on 4,000 views, 47 comments dunking on them. I got a word of advice, unironically for this individual. Maybe take a break. I mean, take a break from the internet, but especially take a break from interacting with accounts that are causing you to want to disappear forever. Like, you are voluntarily engaging with these accounts over and over again. It clearly cannot be good for your mental health. But then again, did these people ever care about their mental health? Probably not. But here's some more replies or quotes of Banana Juju, this hashtag normal person saying, "Hey, look, guys, it's the ranch raccoon used herself being racist to get followers, supports AI art. Shocking. In other shocking news, the sky has clouds in it. And in other shocking news, this person has Rev derangement syndrome. They say, this F is one of the reasons why, referring to Chibi reviews, why we need to gatekeep the anime community. His kind should not be allowed in it."
See, I have some I have my issues with Chibi, right? I do have my issues, and that's mostly because he's kind of sometimes very much retarded. He does, how do I put this? He shows lol cow behavior, and the problem is that he doesn't learn from his mistakes. He needs to stop giving the shits that are after him that much attention. That's the problem. He needs to stop feeding the mob. I feel like he doesn't learn this hard enough, and I think it's time that he does. He's feeding the mob, and that fucks him over. I feel like, right? I think Chibi needs to stop, right? Recently, this whole like apparently he like brought like he involved the FBI or something. Stop posting that on Twitter. You're feeding the mob. You're giving them attention. Do that in private. Let them experience consequences before they actually ever see it. Don't do that. That's my only problem I have with Chibi, honestly. But aside from that, he's been probably there before this Billy person. He's probably more so somebody who's into anime actually than anybody else, right? And the thing is, like, he's not the one that needs to be gatekept. This Billy person is the one that needs to be gatekept. Anyways.
It gives the rest of us a bad name. Same with that "See You Next Tuesday" Kirsha and Smugglana, and especially Rev, the anime Keemstar. Wow. I mean, that's the most offensive one I've heard so far. Like, you can call me a lot of things. That's a pretty offensive one right there. That's worse than pretty much anything I can think of. But you can see that's not their first rodeo. But here's another quote saying, "You are a horrible person, and we weren't even testing for that." And Banana Juju simply says, "For what? Using AI or finding artists who want to be professionals and make business?" Yeah, let's like take a step back and realize what we're talking about when we're calling someone a horrible person. It's based on a tweet that's really responding to a negative situation and trying to turn it positive by saying, "Hey, you can find artists, and let's find artists and let's support them." Isn't that like the goal of this whole situation? All these.
That would be the optimal case, but the problem is this, right? So you wanna commission an artist. They refuse to because you said something that they disagree with. Okay? So you use AI. But they also don't want you to do that because you should commission artists. So you commission artists that do want to work with you. But no, those artists are being harassed because they work with you. So worst case, you go back to AI. But they want you to not use AI. So what do you do? It's that simple. What do you do? So you might as well just use AI. Too poor Smug got dragged into the draw. Every single time we watch something related to this, right? Smug Alana is being named. And she doesn't even do anything, right? She doesn't even do anything. She just exists. She doesn't even say, she's like also like super milk toast, right? She doesn't have crazy like beliefs or anything, right? She's just there. She just gets dragged into it. She doesn't even do anything. Her name just happens.
Good people, supposedly. Isn't that what they want?
And I gotta say this. You should take this as a compliment. If these people are seething by the sheer fact that you exist, even if you're technically not even involved, that's a compliment. And at this point, they should pay you. They should pay you for it. I'll be real.
But no, they respond like that. But there's still some more responses to this original post that I found pretty humorous. This VTuber right here is saying, because not being a racist piece of crap is so hard. Love it when you justify the use of a system that relies on stealing from artists and disrespects the lifeblood of VTubing as a whole. It shows that you don't belong anywhere near the VTubing space. Of course, no self-respecting artist or VTuber wants to associate with you when you're posting bigoted garbage on the internet for likes. It's called your actions have consequences.
Oh, and Smug's Illustrator is really... You mean really good or really food? Don't eat them. You do know that being right-wing does not mean you are racist. Fun fact, there is black right-wingers. How does that work? There's Latina ones. How does that work? There's Asian ones. How does that work? We have a slight problem here, you dumbass. How do you justify that? Oh, you would then start throwing racist terms at them, like Uncle Tom or white adjacent, right? Because you don't know how to counter these. And I'm gonna be real. It's that simple, actually. It's that simple. It doesn't matter if it's the lifeblood of VTubing. It's that simple. You either be professional or you die. See, localizers face the exact same issues. You either do your job or you will be swept away, replaced. We call this replacement. And you will be replaced if you aren't doing your job. Adjust a parish. I noticed after entering the art community, a majority of them are emotionally unstable. Why am I not shocked? I'm not shocked. I'm unsurprised.
Interesting. This person gets to decide who's allowed in the VTubing space. They must be very important, but then again, the name looks familiar, and well, that's their mentality. They say Rev just doesn't know when to stay down. That is the whole existence for these people on social media. It's not about creating content or doing anything on their own. It's about seething about others and trying to control them, and then seething harder when none of that works. And that is reflected in this quote, where this user says, they're unironically telling this guy, just don't be a right-winger. Yeah, bro, just stop resisting. Just step back in line. Just obey. That is basically the best way to sum up this entire situation. The very accepting and sympathetic and tolerant people, they're just the opposite of that. I mean, straight up deranged in some cases, but hypocritical at the very least. But that's going to do it for this video. Please help out a problematic VTuber like myself here by liking the video, subscribing, turning on notifications, and
yeah, might as well do that for me, because I'm also so, I'm just a poor little guy, right? I'm just a poor little guy. Anyways, I mean, I'm emotional, but not that crazy. You are certainly not that crazy. You're not crazy to the point where, everything you can think, anything you can think of is, people that don't agree with you. Or you're that rent free that or somebody lives that rent free in your head. It's just insane. These people are just insane. Mental fucking illness.